Hey you guys, so as you can see by the title of this video, I have breast cancer. I've been fretting over this video for the last, almost 2 weeks now, trying to figure out how I was going to say it out to the world, because I felt like once I said it to everybody, it then became like real. I think I had to first digest the news myself. I still can't honestly say I've wrapped my whole entire head around everything, but I'm getting there as best as I can. I'm still on vacation. Today is my last day here. We leave tomorrow, but this was like the calm before the storm for me. This was like the fun before I get back home and reality sets in again, because these 4 days being in Scottsdale has like taken my mind off of everything. It was so needed, because being in the house dealing with this for the last month has been a mind fuck. Literally, I was kind of like driving myself crazy. So let me just take you all back to how I found out. So in July, it was July 12th. No, let's go back a week before that. I was up one night in bed working or watching TV or doing something, and this arm like grazed up against my left breast, and I felt something hard. And so I immediately freaked out. Like my heart just got to pumping really fast. It's like that alarm, like that alert signal inside of you when something bad is about to happen, or like in a horror movie. So I immediately just paused, like, did that just happen? So I did a breast exam and I couldn't feel anything. So I was like, I have large breasts. So I was like, maybe it was the way I was sitting and, my tissue was, just heavy on one side or whatever. I was like, maybe it was just all in my head. Week later, on the following Monday, I was in the bathroom at home, and I was about to take a shower, and I was naked, and I had just finished brushing my teeth and doing my Fenty skincare routine, and it happened again where my left arm grazed up against the side of my left breast, and I felt it again. So I was like, okay, what the fuck? So I panicked again. I was like, this cannot be happening. This cannot be happening. So I did another exam, and I felt it this time, and I was like, my heart just stopped. I was like, this cannot be happening to me. This cannot be happening. So then I went and laid on my bed, naked on my bed, because another good way to do a breast self-exam is to lay on your back with your arm above your head and touch your breast. And I did it, and I found a lump, a small lump on my left side. It's like 13 inches away from my areola. So I was just like, God, what is happening? Like, this could not be happening to me. But the crazy part is, my whole life I've had the thought in my head that I was gonna get breast cancer. I don't know if it was just because the size of my breast made me think that, even though I know that it doesn't matter what size your breast are, anybody can get breast cancer, but it was just something that I've always thought in the back of my head. I don't know why, I just have. So God moving on my behalf, once I found the lump, I immediately called and made a doctor's appointment. Normally it'll take me 2 to 3 weeks, sometimes even a month to get in to see the doctor, but God working on my behalf, they had an opening for the next day, next afternoon. So that was July 13th. Went to the doctor July 13th. This was my first time with my new doctor, my new OBGYN. And so she examined me, and she of course found a lump as well. So she was like, it doesn't seem like it's abnormal based on, me feeling on it. She was like, because an abnormal lump will be like irregular, lumpy or whatever. She was like, yours feels like it's a cyst. So I was like, whew. She's like, well, we have to make sure, so we're going to schedule you a mammogram ultrasound. So I was like, okay. So I chilled out, but in the back of my mind, I was like, we still got to get confirmation. I was chilling out, but I said, when I went home after that appointment, I called my best friends. I called Losha, I called Monique, I called Sheridan, and I called Sharita. And I told them all, I was like, because Monique just went through a similar situation where she felt some lumps. My best friend Losha, back in our 20s, she had lumps in her breast. Theirs, however, were benign. Nothing wrong with them. I said, watch, I'm gonna be the one that fuck around and have cancer. Watch, just watch. So in the back of my head, I'm thinking, this could possibly be it, but I'm praying for the best. I'm praying that it is a cyst and that the doctor is right, that it's just a cyst. So a week later, on August the 2nd, I went and had the mammogram ultrasound done. So I went and had the mammogram done. You go in the back. I was about to turn 40 anyway, so it was that time for me to have a mammogram done regardless. So went in the back and had a mammogram done. And I know everybody's always supposed to be nice to you anyway in situations like that, but I just felt like the nurses were being just extra nice to me for some reason. I was like, these motherfuckers gonna tell me I got cancer, watch. I was already bracing myself because I'm one of them people where I have to brace myself for bad news because I don't want to be caught off guard by anything. So we did all these different positions of them taking exams of my left and my right breast and things of that nature. They asked me about my, medical history in my family. Does cancer run in my family? And my grandmother on my mom's side died of ovarian cancer. So I told them that. She was like, okay, thank you for telling me that, because I didn't even know until all this happened that if you have a history of cancer, period, in your family, that you could likely, have cancer as well, and that just because my grandmother had ovarian cancer, that didn't stop me from possibly having, like I said, breast cancer. So she was also like, are you on any type of hormone therapy? And I was like, yes, I take Prempro. And it is a medicine that I've been taking since 2013 after I had my partial hysterectomy. I had my fallopian tubes and my ovarian, removed. And so they put me on Prempro. And she was like, I was like, well, I'm on Prempro. I don't know if that's a hormone therapy, because I couldn't think at that moment because I was just so nervous. And she was like, oh my God, thank you so much for telling me that. And just her reaction to me telling her that I took Prempro was a alert signal in my head. So I was like, okay, pin that in your head. So like I said, we did the mammogram, got the mammogram done. It took about maybe 20 something minutes. And then they set me in the waiting room to then go and have the ultrasound done. And like I said, the lady was just so nice to me. And I was like, they being too nice to me. I felt like they were preparing me for bad news. So I sat in the waiting room for probably about 5 minutes, and then they pulled me into the ultrasound room. Went in there with another young lady, laid down on my side. And just like you have ultrasound when you're pregnant, they did the same thing on my left breast. So when she was doing the ultrasound, I'm looking at the screen, and I see when she went underneath my arm, I saw a mass or whatever. So I was like, I got 2 of them? And she was like, yeah, but this one, that's benign. Don't even worry about that one. So I was like, okay. But I'm like, okay, what the fuck is going on? So then when she went down to the one that I found, and I saw the difference in how they looked, because the one underneath here was perfectly oval shaped round, cyst, fibroid, whatever you want to call it, or benign tumor. But the one that I found, it was irregularly shaped. It was shaped like a thought bubble, like a thick cloud above your head. So I'm like, this motherfucker's abnormal. Because, I've been doing my research. I was like, this motherfucker's abnormal. So I'm already nervous. I'm scared. I'm shaking, y'all. I'm just so scared. My brother went with me that day, so he was waiting outside in the waiting room. Mind you, I had to go to the breast care center at the hospital. So I'm just like, I can't believe that I'm here. I cannot believe this is happening. So the girl did all of her, measurements and things. And then she was like, I'll be right back to bring the doctor in for, the results. So I sat there and I said a prayer. And then it wasn't even 5 minutes later, the nurse's assistant or whoever she was, the girl that did the ultrasound, and the doctor came in. And I could tell by the way the doctor walked in that it was about to be bad news, because she had her hands in her pocket and she was kind of like walking slow. And so she turned to me and she was like, well, Keisha, sorry, but I don't have good news. She was like, the mass, it is a mass, and it did come back abnormal. So we're going to need to do a biopsy to further see if this is cancerous. So I'm sitting there with this robe on, and I'm just looking at her, and I'm calm at this point because I'm prepared for this, but it's still like alarm signals going off in my head that this is happening, this is real, this is not a dream, oh my God, this is happening to me. I'm one of those people, like, this is happening to me. So I immediately was just like, do I have cancer? Does it look cancerous? And she was like, it's looking that way. Like, she didn't want to come out and say it because, you know, they have to wait for the biopsy to get the exact results, but she was like, it's looking that way. So I was like, okay, if it is cancerous, what will be the next result? She was like, well, since we don't see anything else in your breast, which is good, if the results do come back cancerous, then we'll just do like a lumpectomy with like probably radiation, but we have to get confirmation on everything. So I was like, okay. She was like, you know, I'm so sorry to tell you this or whatever. She was like, well, I'm going to take you over to our nurse navigator so we can set you up for the biopsy next week. So I was like, okay. So she was like, just come on, go get dressed and then come sit outside. So I got dressed, sat outside, and at this point, I'm like freaking the fuck out on the inside. So before I went to go sit in with the nurse navigator, I asked, could my brother come back? Because I wanted another set of ears to be in the room while they're talking to me. Because at this point, it's like I'm there physically, but my spirit was outside of my body at this point. So my brother came back and he was like, what they say? And I was sitting just like this and I looked this way and I said, I got cancer. And he was like, what? I was like, I got cancer. And that's when I just bust out and started crying. And he was like, he just hugged me. He was like, you don't know that yet, what they say? And I was like, well, she says that she thinks that it's cancerous. And he was like, well, we don't know that yet. We're not gonna claim that yet. He was trying to calm me down. They gave me tissue. And I'm just thinking about my son at this point. And that's the only thing that really makes me cry about this whole thing is Kyrie's, because I'm just like, God, I can't leave my son. Even though he's an adult now, that's my heart, that's my best friend, that's my only child, and we're like this. And I'm like, you can't take me away from him yet, Lord. I'm not ready to go. Like, no, like I can't be dying young. And anybody that knows me knows I have an extreme fear of death to the point that I'm in therapy for it. I've been in therapy for it since like December about my fear of death. I think about death every day, about dying young. And so when she said that to me, I was like, it is true. I'm going to die young. I'm going to die young. I'm going to die young. Kyrie's is going to be here by himself. So I went back into the nurse navigator's office with my brother, and he was like, you know, she's saying that they said that, you know, she has cancer. She was like, well, wait, calm down. We don't know that yet until we get the biopsy. She was like, just calm down. So she was like, I'm a survivor myself. I'm 12 years cancer free. She was like, the doctor that we're going to assign you to, she was my doctor. She's a great doctor. She was like, if you have cancer, that's who you'll be assigned to. Hold on. I'm listening to all of this, but I'm still just crying. I'm just crying and just trying to sink all of this into my brain. And so then she explained to me how the biopsy was going to go. She was like, we're going to cut a small little incision into your breast. It's probably about this size, the incision. And she was like, it's going to be, you're going to be awake the whole time. We're going to numb your breast. You won't feel a thing. And the doctor's going to stick this long needle into your breast. And he's going to pull out your breast tissue so we can examine it under the microscope to see if there are any cancerous cells. And she was like, then we're going to implant this very small little piece of metal into the tumor so we know exactly where it's located. And when I say small, it's like microscopic small. So she was like, then we'll, you know, bandage you up and you can go home. And she was like, you probably have a little stinging. You can't get it wet for 24 hours. It'll probably turn, you know, black and blue. There'll probably be a little bleeding. But other than that, that'll be what it is. So I was like, okay. So she was just like, you know, sorry for this part of the bad news, but, you know, you still have to get the biopsy results. Don't freak out. But I'm already freaking out in my head. I'm just preparing myself for the worst. So the whole ride home, I cried. Mind you, this was the day that I was getting the birthday boxes out. So I had been up for 48 hours getting those boxes done to get them out to everybody, knowing that I had this mammogram ultrasound coming up that Wednesday. On that Wednesday for the mammogram ultrasound. And I was just like, I was just going through it that week. So Kyrie's was waiting on me to get home because he was the one that was doing the drop-offs for the boxes. So he called me. He was like, what they say? And I was like, I'll just talk to you when I get home. So they had some more boxes to take. So instead of going with his cousins to go drop off the rest of the boxes, Kyrie stayed at home because he wanted to know what the results was. And I told him that, they think that it, might be cancerous. And so he just grabbed me and hugged me. And then that's when I broke down and cried again in his arms. And he cried a little bit. He didn't want to cry in front of me. He did tell me later on that he cried in his room by himself, because he was just like, it's not fair. Like, why do you keep on having to get sick and go through stuff? Like, you're a good person, you don't do drugs, you don't drink, you don't smoke. Like, why is this happening to you? And he was like, it's just not fair. And I was like, it's not fair. And I was like, I've been, through sickness before. We got through it the last time. If that's what it is, we're gonna get through it this time. So I was just like, we just gotta, prepare myself. And so that week, from the mammogram to the biopsy to after the biopsy, was literally the hardest week of my life, y'all. I have never been more scared in my life, to the point where I was just in the bed. All I did was sleep and think and cry and pray and shake and do research, trying to learn as much as I can about breast cancer, what type of breast cancer it could be, the stages. Like, I did so much research, watching videos on YouTube of breast cancer vlogs and surgeries and this, that, and the third. So I had so much information already logged in my head before the biopsy. So that week when I wasn't posting regularly, that was why. So the following Monday on the 9th is when I had the biopsy. Mind you, that same day, I had to go get the second shot for the Moderna vaccine. So me and Kyrie's went and got the Moderna shot first, then I had to go get the biopsy. So I was fucked up late on that day in pain. So they did the biopsy. I was awake the whole time. I was perfectly calm. I was looking at the ultrasound machine as he was doing the taking the tissue out. It was painless. I didn't feel a thing. He was like, you're a champ, you're not nervous. I was like, child, I've been poked and prodded and cut open so much, this is nothing. So everybody was just so nice and so accommodating and everything. And so he was like, to expect the results back in a few days. So Kyrie went with me that day. Went home that day and just, I couldn't take any aspirin. I couldn't take aspirin, so I had to just take ibuprofen for the pain. So I had pain, a little pain in my breast and then in my arm from the shot. That Tuesday, I was really going through it because I was having flu-like symptoms from the shot or whatever, and I was just having chills and night sweats, and it was just horrible that Tuesday. By Wednesday, I was fine. And it was Wednesday night, I believe. Wasn't it Wednesday night or Thursday? It was Wednesday or Thursday of that week. I got the results back on my chart. So I got the results back before they could call me. And so I got the results and I was reading through it and I couldn't understand what I was reading. So one of my good friends that I went to school with named Keela, she had connected me with a good friend of hers who's a 2-time breast cancer survivor who has an organization and everything. And so she's just been so sweet. Like, y'all don't even know how many people, these angels that have come into my life over the last few weeks that have helped me with this. And this young lady was one of them. I don't want to say her name because I don't know if she wants her name on here, but I called her and read her the results. And my results said that I had stage 2 invasive ductal carcinoma, breast cancer. She was like, carcinoma means cancerous. She was like, you're stage 2. She was like, that's good. She was like, that, none of it's good, but that's on the better side of things. She was like, that doesn't mean, grade 2, I'm sorry, grade 2 invasive ductal carcinoma. So she was like, grade 2 is on the better side of things. So there's a difference between your grade and your stage. So my biomarkers came back 100% estrogen, 100% progesterone, and HER2 negative, which was a great result for me. And the tumor came back 1/2 inch. So it's like the size of an olive. It's very, very small. But it started in my milk duct. That's where it started. But then it left out the milk duct. They didn't find, I went too far. So it came back cancerous. And so I cried again. I just bust out crying once I found out the result because I had to let it sink in. And I told Kyrie, and he was like, okay. He was like, that just mean we gotta, like you said, fight. We gonna make it through this like we made it through the last time. And I was like, exactly. So I had to tell my family and everything. And my friends, like I said, have stepped up. Like, it's just amazing to me how much my friends have stepped up to be there for me. Sharita, Sheridan, like I said, Losha, Monique, and Keela, and the young lady that's the breast cancer survivor, the nurses at the hospital and everything, everybody, my father. And the good thing about it is this time around, me and my brother's relationship is so much better. He's been there for me. Of course, Kyrese. All of these people and my Aunt Lisa just have been so nice to me and just accommodating and just praying for me. And most of all, Mr. David, Sheridan's father, my pastor, he said, you know, you got purpose. You can't destroy purpose, and it ain't your time to go. It ain't your time to go, and we gonna make it through this. And he was like, we just gonna pray. Everything's gonna be fine. And so I just relied on God and put all my faith and my trust in him. So after the biopsy, they did the following Monday, they already had me scheduled for an MRI. I felt like they already, like I said, they knew it was cancer. They just needed the absolute proof. So the following Monday on the 16th, I believe, right before my trip this week, I went and had the MRI done. So I had to have the MRI done to make sure that it has not spread anywhere else in my body. Those results came back 2 days later, and it has not spread it, thank you God, to anywhere else in my body. It's not in my lymph nodes, which is great. Thank you God. After the biopsy, my results came back that I'm getting ahead of myself. So, like I said, I was just so happy to learn that it didn't go anywhere else in my body. The doctor, informed me that I'm stage 1 breast cancer, which is good, if you can say any of this is good. After going over my form of cancer, the size of my tumor and everything, and the outlook of everything, and I'm still waiting on my genetic testing to come back to see if my BRCA codes say that, you know, the cancer gene runs in my family. But after going over everything with the doctor, as of right now, I've decided to do a lumpectomy, which is to remove the tumor, and a breast reduction, because y'all know my titties are huge and they need to come down anyway, because I'm going to have to do 35 rounds of radiation, which will be, I'll have to go Monday through Friday for 6 weeks for radiation. So that'll be a month after my surgery though. So I really wasn't, to be honest with you guys, I wasn't going to tell you guys until after the fact. But considering I'm going to be down for a minute with the surgery, and then, you know, there'll be days after, you know, with radiation, I'll be fatigued and things of that nature. And then, you know, you get really bad sunburn and things. It's a lot that comes along with the radiation. So I was like, I might as well go ahead and tell them, because I want them to see the face of cancer, because it could be any one of us. 1 in 8 women will develop breast cancer. That's how common this is. The type of cancer I have, most women get this type of cancer. I've learned so much about cancer. One of the things to help avoid cancer is to just eat lots of vegetables and fruit every day. At least have one or the other every day, you guys. Incorporate that, because all of those antioxidant and things really help kill cancer cells. I've incorporated so many vegetables and fruits into my diet every day, drinking lots of water, cutting out, well, I didn't really eat red meat in the first place, but I'm really cutting down on meat, period. Sugar feeds on cancer. Y'all already know I'm type 2 diabetic. I've started exercising again because I got to get this weight off of me, and I just want to get my overall health together. But one thing that I can say about this diagnosis is that, you know, I was a praying person, but I wasn't praying and talking to God like I used to. I was thankful, and I thanked him every day for all of his blessings and all the things that he had done for me, but I wasn't really opening my mouth and talking to him. And I think this was God's way of waking me up to be like, hello, I'm here. You need to talk to me. And I had to get back to that part of our relationship. And this was a wake-up call for me to get my health in order and to lose weight, because I got things that I need to do and things that I need to accomplish in my life. I'm not ready to go. It's not my time. And also this has helped me with my fear of death, because once I was faced with, okay, this is cancer, and before I even knew the stage or anything, once death is, because, you know, you heard cancer, you think death automatically. And going through my grandmother dying of ovarian cancer, I know how bad it can get. And so I'm like, if this is what takes me from this world, what am I afraid of, really? Because at the end of the day, I'll just be going home to my Father, which is God and my family. The only thing that at this point concerns me is my son. That's it. I don't give a damn about myself. It's all about Kyrese. I do everything in my life for him. That is the love of my life right there, is my child. I pour everything that I can into him, and he's literally my best friend. We have grown up together. We have went through life together, ups and downs. He has been right by my side through it all. And I know that he is not ready for me to be for him to be without me, and I'm not ready to be without him. There's still a lot much that I have to teach him about being a man and being self-sufficient and, you know, reaching his goals. And it's just not my time, period. There's still just so much I want to do as a woman, as a businesswoman. So many more trips I want to go on with my family and friends. This weekend was so needed. There was so much laughter, and it took my mind off of everything, because when I get home and this video drops, it all becomes real. So your prayers and everything that I asked of you all a few weeks ago were so needed. It really helped me to get through. Like I said, I'm going to get through this with laughter, with a smile on my face. I refuse to let this beat me. I refuse to be woe is me. Oh my God. I'm still going to be funny, goofy Keisha, fly as ever. I'm not going to let this beat me, because like Pastor David said, Apostle David said, I have a purpose, and you can't kill purpose. The devil does not have any dominion over my life. He does not order my steps. God does. And I know God got my back, and I know God got me through this, and I'm not going anywhere. I refuse to. There will be hard days, but I know I'll be able to get through it all with the grace of God, with my family and friends, and with you guys. I'm going to continue to do videos and everything. I'll probably vlog a little bit of my experience with this, with the surgery and with radiation and the aftermath and all of these things. And you guys can go on this journey with me, because this will be strenuous, but like I said, I'm determined to beat this. I'm determined for this to never come back again. I'm determined to become cancer free. I'm just thankful to God that I'm only stage 1. I pray that it doesn't get any worse, because it could have. And I'm just grateful that I'm just living and breathing right now to even tell you guys this story, and be a precautionary warning to, like I said, do your breast exams, go get mammograms, because the longer you wait, the worse it could be for you. So I'm just so happy that I didn't put it off, and none of that. I don't play when it comes to my health. That's one thing I don't play about, and don't play about yours, ladies, and even guys out there. Yeah, so that's that, you guys. I love you guys so much, and we're not gonna cry. We're gonna be happy about this whole thing. Not happy about it, but we're gonna put a smile on our face, and we're gonna get through this. We are gonna get through this. Yes, we are. So yes, my name is Keisha, and I have breast cancer, but I will be breast cancer free sooner than you think. Love you guys, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.